Okay, finally, we've got the recording started. Hey, folks, welcome to the Wednesday, October 18th combined work group meeting. So first up on the agenda, actually, before we go to Jason's agenda, now that Mitch has joined. Hey, Mitch, can you use your newfound power and give me rights to record this meeting?
Yes, I can. Sorry about that,
Yes,
Francis.
please. All right, so first up, we have Jason talking about mounting secrets.
Yes, as you can see in these items, I described my use case. So I got requests from our users. They complain on integrating Istio with providing CA certificate for JWKS resolver, because currently we can set the PEM file in directly in helm values, and it's not convenient when you deploy Istio together with other components using some GitOps tools. And our users would expect to have an option to specify secret name. And I was looking for, I was searching issues because it seemed pretty obvious to me that it should be somehow feasible, but it's not. And I found that I found John's comment that it should be done by mounting custom volume mounts and volumes, and it sounds reasonable. But then I realized that it couldn't be done because JWKS resolver always looks for the CA root certificate at path CA certs extra PEM, and it means that we cannot use cert manager certificates directly because the secret key must be changed from ca.crt to extra.pem, and it requires an extra step. So my question is, could we change the JWKS resolver to look for other keys as well, like CA-CRT or TLS-CRT and others well known? Yes, John, go ahead.
I believe that with Kubernetes mount, you can actually mount from a secret and rename it to a different file name, which may mean that you don't need any changes. If not, then I'm not against the change, but I think you may be able to do it today, which may be a bit easier.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I'll try it out and put on the meeting notes or send you a Slack message or something.
Okay, it would be nice if you could put a comment, then I will check this option.
But if I'm wrong, I don't mind adding an option for the file name or something along those lines. It seems reasonable.
Okay, but could you just left a comment, and then I will know what to check.
Yep.
Okay, but let's assume if that wouldn't work, then would you agree to extend that JWKS resolver?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable if it doesn't work.
Okay.
Can I ask a dumb question? So I assume with Certificate Manager, you can't configure to use CA certs as your secret. I assume they have a way, they are pre-described a way what secrets needs to be named, and maybe even in a different namespace. Is that true? It's been a while since I used Certificate Manager before.
I didn't check it.
I'm just trying to think, would it work? Can you configure with whatever format Istio takes today without change to Istio?
Okay, I have to check it. I was thinking that the secret name is not relevant. I was talking about the data key. inside the secret. And this is the problem because cert manager always use ca.crt and tls.crt, depending on what kind of certificate you use. So secret name is irrelevant in this case.
Okay, so it's the key inside of the secret.
Yes,
That's
yes.
relevant. Got it. Okay, sorry about that confusion.
No problem. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Anyone else? We have another comment on that?
No, I think what you guys discussed makes sense, right? So try the thing John's going to post, and if it doesn't work, I think it makes sense for Istio to support this, to make it easy for certificate manager. I do believe it's working today. However, it's not as easy to use when you want to use GitHub, right? So you could manually configure Istio to use certificate manager. Many people have done that, right? But I think you have to kind of indicate this is the key you want to take in the secrets.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. We can go to the next item.
Okay, next item is, I believe, Jianpeng.
I edited because he's not here, but he asked me to
Okay.
request feedback on that API change.
Okay, can you quickly talk about what the changes?
That's just to expose stats tag renaming for Envoy telemetry. I think the idea being is that if you add a custom extension to Envoy that you enable, you want to get telemetry from it. And right now we don't allow that. That's a problem.
Did we already
Okay,
expose
cool.
something similar? Because I know we have basically similar things. Like, I'm a bit worried about exposing this terrible, terrible regex stuff to users.
Well, we do expose some of it via different limited regexes. I think the question is, are we going to keep adding custom regex, or we can just expose the whole regex as is?
Yeah. Is Envoy ever going to move away from having a metric be a string that you regex match against to make sense of it?
I don't think so. I mean, that's sort of the standard way to do telemetry. It's always kind of like that.
I mean, normally it's key value pairs though, right?
Well, it's still, when you look at it's still always linearized, even if it's a key value. It's just convenience to treat it as a key value.
Sure, but I guess my concern is making users do regexes against the linearized thing instead of the key values, because we already know that even for our first party stuff, we get this regex wrong all the time, and it's obscenely complex. I don't know who can understand that in under 5 minutes or so. So I'm worried about giving that to users, because if we can't do it correctly, then how are they going to do it and understand this and not think that Istio is, obscenely complicated? I mean, if it's all we have in Envoy,
yeah, I get that. I understand. When there's a key value support in Envoy, it's just it's not there, not used. So, I mean, this is for advanced use cases. This is gRPC bridge filter, I think, which is not the default Istio API filter.
Yeah, I assume that was just an example. But yeah, I agree it's for advanced use cases. And if there's no Envoy alternative, then we may have no choice. But it does kind of... But it may be the best we can do based on Envoy. So.
So what's the contention? So it sounds like there's no backwards compatible issue. But the contention is it's the right user interface for user to use.
Yeah, I think it's just there's concerns about exposing regex, but there's no other way to do it in Envoy except regex. So I'm not sure what you can do about it. We can have a limited form of regex, which we've done in the past, but we can never capture all regexes this way, and we just keep adding custom limited forms of it, which doesn't seem like a good idea too.
So I guess I don't fully understand. So quite I didn't read the PR ahead of time, I have to confess, but I don't fully understand what's the purpose of the regex here. Like, are we saying I only want stats if the value of the envoy.cluster name matches what's in the regex? That's when I want you to collect the proxy stats. Is that what this configuration is for case 2?
This configuration exposes 2 tags. One is cluster, actually 3 tags, I think, and then service and a method, right?
Right. I was giving the example. If that does it mean if only if the cluster name and the bridge service and the bridge method matches what's in the regex, that's when we collect the stats.
No, it's always done together. There's no end. So every time there's a stat with cluster something, can be converted into a tag name. And then same thing for gRPC.
So what's the purpose of the regex? Is it to decide what stats to collect, or is it to decide how you're going to transform the stats?
This is to convert statsd to Prometheus form. So
Okay,
in
got it.
statsd, we have a metric for every single gRPC method, right? Separate metric. So what this does is creates one metric for all gRPCs, but it instead uses tags on that metric. Because Envoy uses statsd by default. This is sort of necessary.
Okay, got it. I think having some examples would be really helpful. Might already be in the PR.
That is the example that's on the screen.
Okay.
I guess it doesn't show the output, but that's the thing is it's basically, in my mind, Envoy has a terrible interface, and then we're forced to use that. And so we end up with either not supporting it, changing Envoy, which is probably extremely hard, or exposing the terrible Envoy API.
Go ahead, Leigh.
Yeah, so Quad, my understanding is this API allows introduce more Envoy stats. So is there an alternative to do that? Because I see this is in mesh config. For example, it's like alternative for Istio telemetry API to do this, like expose more Envoy stats through such API if the user choose to do that.
Well, the problem with this is that this only works at startup. There's no way to dynamically change it, either what stats you emit or how you emit them. So yeah, this has to be startup only right now. That's why it doesn't fit telemetry API well.
Okay, so okay, I see. Okay.
I mean, it'd be nice to have proposals that are alternative. I mean, I don't like this direct exposure either, but there's a real problem that we cannot expose metrics for the things that are used on data plane. And that's not good because we don't have any visibility into what's happening.
just curious, any, customer asking for this, or any like a GitHub issue, with request for such a feature?
I should talk to Jan Feng, because I don't know. I wasn't the one who opened it. Jan Feng, she just asked me to, talk about it, because there's no progress on it since like a month.
Should we add a note to the issue to the PR for that? Because I do think that's an important question to ask, given it's not obvious to use this. If no user asking for this, why would we add it?
Well, I'm pretty sure somebody asked for it, but I don't know details, because this looks very specific to gRPC. It's just I don't know. I don't have the details. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Sumit. So my team has been running Envoy for almost 5 years at Credit Karma. We've been just for data point. We have some logic in our configs, Envoy configs, to do some of this. So I think it's not terrible, but having this put behind, this is very specific to stat telemetry. So maybe having the schema in such a way that makes it clear that this would only work for stat might be helpful.
But it also works for all telemetry, not just statsd, because all other telemetry in Envoy is converted from statsd. So if you impact statsd, it also impacts every other thing.
Oh, I didn't know that. Sounds good.
So is there anything else that we can discuss today on this issue, or just need to flag Jianpeng on this issue?
Francis, I think from the discussion here is we want to hear, whether there are users asking for such a feature, because introducing a new feature no one use, or it has a cost, right? For example, deprecation cost and maintenance cost, or so if we can see some data to support such a feature request.
Yeah. Well, I guess my question is, do we need to ask Jianpeng to provide that, or is this something that we're going to post on, say, for example, the Slack channel?
I think asking Jianpeng to provide it is reasonable. Jianpeng created this API request, right? And we don't see much context, right? What is the context behind this API request? So.
Okay. So I think his last request is to the TOC for ping. Can a member of TOC reply to this and basically ask for?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you, Lynn. All right. So that's that one. All right. So that's that issue right there. Do we have any other issue today? Well, if there's nothing else, then let's end the meeting and give 30 minutes back. Thank you. Oh, by the way, Lynn, so you should I think you should get a email with the link to the meeting recording. If you don't mind, can you forward me that email so I can upload the recording into the YouTube channel? Or otherwise,
yes.
you have the YouTube channels.
Yes, I will do that. In fact, I think I have an email from last week. So thank you so much for letting me know. I can send them to you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.
All right. Bye-bye.